Hello learners, I welcome you all to the 39th lecture for the course on International Investment Law and the Environment. So in this lecture, we are going to discuss about one last decided cases. I think with this lecture, we are done with discussing the decided cases. From the next week onwards, we will look at some of the strategies or tricks that a host state can undertake in order to ensure that the environmental principles are reconciled within the field of international investment law. So this is going to be the last case that we are going to discuss, and this case is Evan versus Costa Rica. Evan actually, David Richard Evan is a US national. He and along with other Americans from United States of America decided to invest in a special purpose vehicle in Costa Rica in order to build a tourism and residential project called Las Olas project in Estilo Ortegas of Pacific coast of Costa Rica. And this is what their intention was, to build a project that consists of commercial lots, residential lots, a beach club, condos, and a hotel. This was their plan, and then they had acquired the land. They've started the work. So according to them, so since there are three nationals of United States who are the claimant here, let's call them as claimants. All of them are from United States, all nationals. The claimants are all from United States, and since there are multitude many claimants in this case, let's commonly refer to all of them as claimants. So according to the claimants, they had all the necessary approvals and permits from Costa Rica, including the environment viability permit that was issued by SETANA, the environmental agency of Costa Rica. So they stated that they had all of these work, but there were some complaints from the local residents, pursuant to which Costa Rican authorities conducted an inspection at the project site, and they found that there was indeed existence of wetlands. And the complaints that they received was that there were wetlands within the project site, and when they conducted the inspection also, they found it that there were wetlands in some part of forest and all of that. That was there. In fact, while undertaking the project site project work, they had covered these wetlands and all of that. That is something that's revealed through the inspection itself. Once this discovery was made, then certain injunctions were issued prohibiting the work in the project site, and then there were many cases that were filed, criminal cases were filed pursuant to the domestic laws, especially the laws relating to forest and wildlife conservation. So Interpol red notice was issued against Evan. So this was the factual circumstances surrounding the case. At this juncture, the claimants had decided to raise an investment dispute with Costa Rica. So therefore, they filed for an investment arbitration under Dominican Republic Central American Free Trade Agreement. So US is a party to this agreement. So as US nationals, they were claiming violations under these agreement. Now, one of the key claims, or the two major claims made by the claimants were, Costa Rica has violated the minimum standard of treatment that was provided in this TIP, Treaty with Investment Provision, and also they also stated that Costa Rica had unlawfully expropriated their investment. These were the two major claims that they had made. When the matter was heard initially, Costa Rica raised some preliminary objections, many preliminary objections. What were they? Firstly, David Evan, who was a US national and then invoked CAFTA. So Costa Rica stated that he also possesses Italian nationality. So he definitely had US nationality. That is why he was able to invoke this FTA. But apparently he also had Italian nationality, and US allows dual nationality. So, Costa Rica stated that by applying the principle of real and effective nationality, he should be considered as Italian, and therefore he should not be allowed to use this treaty with investment provision. Then the tribunal examined the provision of CAFTA and then found that the only bar from someone filing an investment arbitration under this particular instrument is that they should not be a national of the host state. And since he's not a national of Costa Rica, and he's also a national of United States, he possessed the United States nationality also. So they allowed this claim. So they stated that he can bring a claim under this particular treaty with investment provision. So that was allowed. That is the first preliminary objection that was raised by Costa Rica. With regard to the second objection raised by Costa Rica, it stated that the other claimants had not made any monetary contributions in this particular project. So we could see that on the facts of the case, they brought their own expertise, especially with regard to marketing and real estate development experience. Recognizing their non-monetary contribution, even shares were given to them. So tribunal stated that itself is proof. I mean, they possess the shares, even though they did not bring any monetary contribution, they've still contributed in other ways. So that objection of Costa Rica was also rejected by the tribunal. Then the Costa Rica raised a third objection, saying that some of the properties belonging to them have actually been sold off, and that was not disclosed to the arbitrators as well as to the other side. I mean, they did not bring up that particular topic. Then the tribunal stated that at the time of notice of arbitration, if the claimants had any property relating to the investment in Costa Rica, only that will be subject to protection if they under the treaty with investment provision. If they have sold off any property before the notice of arbitration was sent, then that property will not be protected. This is how the tribunal decided with regard to the third objection. Fourthly, Costa Rica also stated that they had some violations with regard to unpaid taxes, and then there was one Costa Rican law which stated that 51% of shares of SPVs are to be held only by Costa Rican nationals and not by anybody else or foreigners. That was the law. So here they stated, Costa Rica stated that that is getting violated. On the facts of the case, if you look at the arrangement between Evan and a Costa Rican national, so that 51% requirement was getting technically complied with, because what Evan had done was, Evan had transferred 51% of shares to his long-term personal assistant, a Costa Rican national. So to her, he had transferred the 51% of shares, and then there was an agreement between them saying that whatever profit is earned because of these shares, that had to be given back to Evan. So that is what the agreement stated that. So Costa Rica raised a contention before the tribunal. So this is not a valid arrangement, and technically, I mean, they're not complying the law in true spirit. So that is what Costa Rica's contention was. But then there were many testimonies were given, there were many witnesses that were heard. So then the tribunal came to the conclusion this particular practice was something that was widely prevalent. That is what the claimant were also saying. Claimant also stated that this is a practice that is widely prevalent in Costa Rica. Then during the testimony, the evidence was given stating that the Attorney General Office discussed this with the municipality and what to do, but somehow Costa Rica had decided to tolerate this particular practice. So the tribunal stated that there is tacit acceptance by Costa Rica in this regard. So they did not entertain this particular objection of Costa Rica also. Then they also had a problem with regard to certain unlawful acts of the claimants, but Costa Rica was not in a position to submit evidence with regard to the allegation that they made that the claimants had committed certain unlawful acts. So on that ground only the tribunal rejected it, no evidence, so no claim. Then there was one more contention that Costa Rica took, that was, at the end of the hearing, the claimants wanted to invoke full protection and security clause of the treaty with investment provision. That Costa Rica objected, and tribunal accepted Costa Rica's contention, saying that this is ideally something that should have been reflected in the notice of arbitration. If it was not there, then they will not entertain a hearing on the violation of full protection and security clause. So that was something that was decided in favor of Costa Rica. So basically, these are the contentions, the preliminary objections that Costa Rica had taken. One was with regard to the nationality. Secondly, it was with regard to the monetary contributions by other claimants. Thirdly, it was with regard to the assets being sold off. Fourthly, it was with regard to the 51% requirement. Fifthly, it was with regard to certain unlawful conduct, but they were not able to submit evidence. Sixthly, it was with regard to the FPS clause that that they stated cannot bring at this particular point of time. So then, with this, what the tribunal did was the tribunal went on to hear the merits of the case. So these were the preliminary objection that Costa Rica had raised, and on these things, anyway, the tribunal accepted jurisdiction and they went on to hear the merits of the case. The merits, as we had already discussed, there were two claims that were made by claimants. One was the MST, minimum standard of treatment provision, as well as with regard to expropriation provision. Now, one interesting thing that happened here was even we could see that the question with regard to the scope of MST was something that was discussed in that award, but the tribunal stated that it will look at it, it will decide the scope, and the debate was there should not be an expansive interpretation to the MST clause, minimum standard of the treatment, but the tribunal stated that it will apply as it is provided in the treaty itself. Okay, so with that I conclude the very first segment of this case. In the second segment, we will look at how the tribunal decided the question of whether there was a violation of expropriation provision and minimum standard of treatment provision. Thank you.